Hi everyone, Sharon here with Creating with Sharon. How are you all doing tonight? I'm doing okay. Okay, so tonight I'm going to show you 3 cards that I made up. So this one here, and then we're going to do these 2 here using the Cloche domes. Oh, so where'd that come from? So, this is a stamp set. The first card is the stamp set. It's called Sweet Treats. It's on page 11 of your, I guess, your mini catalog. And it is $23 Canadian. So that's what I'm going to make this one out of, and this one too. And then we're going to flip over to page 22, and I'm going to use the classic Cloche bundle. So we're going to use some of these and this and some of the sentiments, and we'll go from there. So let us get started. Everything's going to be on my blog later on tonight. I didn't have a chance to do it all today, but I'll get it all done tomorrow or tonight for you. Okay, so this is the one we're going to do tonight. This is the one I am going to submit for my Casing Tuesday. So I'm going to use this stamp set here along with the cake stand, the little heart, and any way you slice it, I'm thankful for you. That's the sentiment that we're going to use for this one. And I'm going to be using my Petal Pink, my Sierra Sand, and I'm going to be using my watercolor pencils tonight for that one. So, hey Gail, thanks for joining me. So that's the stamp set, what we're going to be using tonight. And looks like my basket's, oops, and we're going to use an actual blend too, a blending pen for that too. Okay, so I have my card base. It is Misty Moonlight, and it's 5.5 by 8.5 fold and scored at a 4 1/4. I'm just going to just use my what's this called? Can't think of that. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. Then I have another piece of Misty Moonlight that's 4 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss that using my Stars Cross embossing folder. So I'm going to put that in there. And then we have a piece of basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go on the inside of the card. And then I have a Petal Pink. That is, thank you, Jean, bone folder. I was going to call it something else, but I dare not say it on TV. And this is 3.5 by 3.5, and this one here is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I have a piece for my sentiment. Okay, so let's just get this embossed. So there's the card there. Just leave it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss it. I'm going to put it through my embossing folder, and almost all of Stampin' Up's embossing folders have this line, and it helps you keep your dimension straight. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go corner to corner on this one. So I think I just about have it. Now I'm just going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring in my Big Boss here. I have my plates, 1, 2, 3 plates. Oops, I got to put one on the bottom. There we go. And, oops. Okay, so let's just run this through. I like to line everything up first before we run it on through. And then we'll just run that puppy on through for you. And I'm not going to put this very far because I am going to need it for the next card. The next 2 cards. So this is, I love this. I love how it has 2 different designs on the, so we have squares and then the stars on that one. So I'm just going to oh, James is here. He says hello. He's being a little PETA today. You know, he's office manager all day today in my husband's office, so I guess he's going to bother me tonight. Okay, so I just put a little bit of glue on the back side. I'm just going to put it right in the center of there, just like that. And then I'm going to bring in this piece here. And before I do anything with that, I'm going to bring in my little heart. And I'm going to bring in my Petal Pink ink pad. And I'm just going to just put a little heart in the corner just like that. And then we'll just get this right into the center, or into the card. I'm going to center it on the back sheet of the card. Oh, thanks, Jean. Don't ask me what color it is. I just got them done yesterday. I get them done every second Tuesday, or every second Monday, sorry. Okay, so there's the base of the card. Now I'm just going to just put that to the side. Now I'm going to bring in this piece here and my 2 stamps, and I'm going to stamp them in Sierra Sand. So it gives them a softer effect. It's not as stark as if you use basic black. Not basic black, I guess it's Memento now. I'll just ink this up, just tap, 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 and I'm just going to just, oops, I better have it going the right way. And I'm just going to just, there we go. Woohoo! And now I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to try and line it up with that line right there. And on my sample, I did a pretty good job lining up, so let's hope I can do it here too. I'm trying to get it centered. All right, let's see, hope that works. Perfect. It's off kilter a bit, but we're gonna have to do it again. I got 2 chances here, right? So do this again. Load. Right there. Ink this one up. Let's see if we can get, okay. And there we go. Let's just hope it's almost pretty darn good for me, I think. Okay, so now I'll just put I'm done with these for now, so I'm just going to put them to the side. I'm going to quickly wipe off my stamps because I don't want ink everywhere. And I'll just put them out of sight. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my watercolor pencils, and I'm going to color them. So I'm going to use this color here, which is, I'm thinking that's probably Old Olive. There's no name on that one. This one has Early Espresso, and this one here is Pink Flamingo. And I'm going to just start coloring. So I'm going to take my Pink Flamingo. I'm going to just put a wee bit of color onto there. And also onto the cake, I guess, caked pan? No, not the cake pan. Jeez, I'm having problems thinking tonight because I did too much today. Okay, so I'm just going to just use a wee bit. See how that moves? The crayon, the watercolor, and it just gives a nice soft effect. You don't want to push too hard, because if you push too hard, you will peel the paper, and you don't want that to happen. You want it just nice and soft all over. Just like that. Okay, so we're just going to just leave that as it is. And put the lid back onto that one. And now I'm going to bring in, I'm sure this is Old Olive. I'm just going to just add a wee bit of color. And then color my, I'm thinking this is a fruit cake. So this would be the fruit that's in there. every second one. And then I'm going to bring back my Fleur de Flamingo and I'm going to do the same. Okay, and then we'll just color. And all you do to wipe off the tip is just rub it onto your a scrap piece of paper. I'm just going to just color. Might need to know. I think we're going to do almost like it's like a watercolor, right? Just very nice. Okay, so now we need to make this like a brownish color. So I have my Early Express, and what I'm going to do very lightly is just very lightly in a circular motion go around pieces of fruit. And I'm going to bring in my blender pen, clean off the tip, and I'm just going to circular motion move that around so it colors it in. It's going to just take a wee bit more, just color that right in there. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some dimensionals. And those are, I need some bigger ones. I don't want to use the minis. Use too many. Okay, so I'm just going to add some dimensions on the back side. So one on each corner, and I'm going to put a couple in the center. And just put this over to the side here. So what have you guys been up to lately? I haven't been up to too much, that's for sure. Oh, there's a little bit of fraying there, so I'm just going to just bring in my sand eraser. Take that off, there we go. Now this is going to go right into the center because it's 1/4 of an inch smaller than the centerpiece, just like that. And I'm going to bring in my sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in my Petal Pink. And stand up to stamp this one. It says, "Any way you slice it, I'm thankful for you." So there's that. And I'll just get these guys out of the way. I'm going to bring in my little mini cutter. I'm just going to just trim this down a bit so it will fit onto my card. Take a wee bit off the top and a wee bit off the bottom. There we go. And now I'm going to just bring this back in. I'm going to put this like that. I'm going to put dimensions on the back side of that one. Let's take and that just like that. And I'm going to put dimensions also on the back side of my sentiment. And we're going to put that almost in the center of that piece right there. So there is card number 1. Now I'm just going to just put everything away. And then we'll move on to card number 2. Like I said, everything's going to be listed on my Facebook page. Or no, on my blog later on, creatingwithsharon.com, and I'll have everything that I used tonight for these cards. So there's card number 1, and And now we're going to move on to card number 2. And with this card, I use the Cloche shaker domes. I'm just going to take out one of that. And in the pack, you get a package of 10. I think they're around $8. I'm not too sure. So I ordered them at the very beginning. And just put those away. And for this one, I'm going to bring in my gingerbread and peppermint designer series paper. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. The red and the green works so well with the cinnamon cider. Just beautiful. I have some blends for you. So I have real red. No, was it real red? Yep, I got real red. I got mint macaron. And then I have on this one here is my light crumb cake. And then I have my real red ink pad, which is going to be for the sentiment. I'm going to bring in the dies. But first things first, let's get this cut out. So, and then of course I have some ribbon. This is all the ribbon I have left of the real red sheer ribbon. This is just gorgeous, beautiful. Just love it. Okay, I'm going to just move this out of the way. Okay, so now I have my card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, fold and scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to burnish it with my bone folder. I have a piece of old olive that is 4 1/4 by 5, or sorry, 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to sit right there. And I'm going to adhere that using my Tombow glue or my liquid glue. And try and get that right center. And that's what I love about Tombow glue. I guess you guys hear enough of that. For me, it just gives you that extra minute to move it around. And then I have a piece of my designer series paper that's 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to sit right like that. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and then I have a piece of cardstock that is 3 1/2 by 4 1/2, and that is this piece right here. And that's going to go sit right on here when we get this all done. And I have a piece that's going to sit in behind when we go to cut out the cloche on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to, and I did this in basic black, or in my Memento black, so you could see it. So just grab that. I'm just going to just ink this up. This guy over here. And I'm going to put him, this one, I'm going to stand up for this, almost at the very bottom of this piece right here. Not quite at the bottom, but almost. There we go. Now I'm going to put this guy away because I know issues earlier with me and black ink don't go well. So this piece is going to go right on the top like this, and we're going to actually cut this piece out. And there we go. So I'm going to bring in my big gloss again. And we're going to do some cutting. Now this afternoon when I did my sample, I did use a bit of tape just to keep it in place so it doesn't move. And I'm just gonna use my painter's tape. I just find it doesn't stick as much. Well, I probably will have a hard time tonight. It doesn't stick as much as, okay, just keep that in place. They say measure twice, cut once. And that's what I'm going to try and do. It's not quite straight. And just run this on through. Oh, I guess it would be nice if I put the bottom plate in. Dear me. There we go. There we are. Okay, now I can move this guy out of the way. Take away. And bring these guys back in. We'll see how good I did on this one. Oops. Oh my gosh, pretty darn close. Not perfect, but pretty close. I'm just going to get my piercing tool and just lift it up. Oops. There we go. So there we have it. We don't need this piece anymore, so that's gonna, I'll keep that maybe for a project later on. And just roll this by. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that piece we'll just put out of the way. So that's gonna go in the center just like that. So this piece here is what we're going to put the pie, I guess, the fruit cake on. Okay, so let's bring in, and I did that in soft suede. I'm just going to just do it like this, so at least I get a bit of an idea. Now you don't want to take it straight down. You don't want to make it perfect on here. Otherwise you will have an issue when you go to adhere it. So you don't want to stamp on this piece. Okay, so let's bring in some blends. So we have the real red, and we're going to color some of the pieces of the fruit. And let's do this one here. And we'll bring in the mint macaron for the green. And then I'm going to bring in the dark mint macaron, and I'm just going to color that right there. And right there. And then I'll bring in the light and we'll just blend it all in. Now, I wasn't too sure about this bundle when I got it, but as I pulled it out, like woohoo! And to let you guys know too, I'm taking a class tomorrow using this stamp set. So I'm pretty excited about that. Not very often I take class, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then I'm going to, okay, I've done that. So now we have to do is give this a little bit of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my light crumb cake, and I'm going to color in pieces of fruit here. And just basically go around everything using your blends. Now when you're coloring the fruit, you can color it any which way you like. It's entirely up to you. I just picked the red and the green because they're Christmas colors, right? Okay, so now I'm going to just flip this around to the, oops, oh, flying everywhere. Just going to flip this around to the finer edge, and I'm just going to go under here just to give it a little depth. Just like that, and then we'll just do the same thing on the bottom. Just to give it a wee bit of depth. Okay, so now we're going to put this piece on here. I'm just going to okay, I'm going to glue this piece down right now before it goes anywhere on me. Oh, looks like I'm not. Thought I was out of glue. And that's going to go right about there. Just going to make sure. No, push it down a bit. There we go, perfect, okay. And just hold that down. Now I'm going to bring in my Real Red again. I'm going to bring in the darker one, and I'm going to just color in around here. Well, it's going to be dark, and underneath here, a little bit of shadow, and then just run a wee bit of shadow on the top like that. And then we'll bring in the light Real Red, and then we will blend it all in. Almost done with this one, and then comes the fun part. Okay, I got a bit of okay, so now this piece is going to go onto here, but we need the cloche, whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called, how to pronounce it. Cloche. That was a cloche. And I'm going to take the top part off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this piece over top of it and slide it in just like that. So how am I going to get it stuck on there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the outside, just like that. And I'm going to peel off this piece right here. Just like that. Flip this back over. And now we're going to adhere it so it looks like the cake is sitting on the cake dish. Just like that. And then we're going to bring in, a piece of white cardstock. And we're going to write Happy Birthday. We're going to do that in the Real Red. Tell you, if somebody gave me some fruit cake for my birthday, I would be too upset. Oh my gosh, I don't like the stuff. I guess it's an old English thing, I don't know. But, okay. And then my real red. I'm going to just put some stuff away here. It's just getting too cluttered for me. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my real red. Make sure I don't get any on my hands. Move that out of the way. Bring in my sentiment. Tap, tap. And I'm going to write, it says happy birthday. So, there we go. Bring in my trimmer. Oh, I'm going to put this away just because it's red and Lord only knows what will happen. See, I already got some on there. Okay. And just trim that back. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And now what we need is a few dimensionals. So I'm going to bring in my mini dimensionals because this is so small. And add 3 of them onto the back side of my sentiment. Oops, straight. And I'm going to put this right here, just like that. And now I'm going to bring in my twine, or my ribbon. And here it is, and my bow maker. I'm going to do a bow. Might be a little too small. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have a piece on my right hand side, bring the piece on the left, bring it around, the one that's underneath, so the one on the right, bring it over top, all the way over top, oops, over the top, grab it, and then tie it in a knot. Now once you do this with this type, once it's tied in a knot, it's really hard to loosen that up. So you just want to make sure that it's perfect before you pull it really tight, and then just grab your scissors and cut them both on an angle, otherwise your ribbon could fray. And then I'm going to grab a glue dot. Where am I? Yep, I have them right here. And one of my piercing tool, and put a glue dot right above the top of a cloche, whatever it's called, and just butt that right up to finish it off, just like that. So that is card number 2. Now the third and final card is we're going to use the whole classic Cloche bundle. So we're going to use the stamp set and the dies to make this card right here. This has to be one of my favorite ribbons. It ties gorgeously, like, I don't know if that's even a word. And of course it's on back order because it's so popular. Okay, so bring this one in. So I'm going to just change this up a bit. I know it has cherry cobbler, but I'm going to just switch the cherry cobbler and the basic gray. So on this one here, I'm going to be using the Peaceful Place Designer Series paper, and I'm going to use the ones with the trees on it, as you can see. And, oh, I had everything, okay. And this is the stamp set, and we're just going to color, stamp, and color using this one right here. And then I have my lovely labels, Pick-a-Punch, my old olive green, my stamp set. And I also, because I'm going to make this into a shaker card, I have my Subdual Shimmer Sequences that we're going to put on the inside. I have my favorite ribbon, and that's all I have left. Maybe I have a whole roll somewhere. No, I don't think I do. That's all I have left. Oh, sad day. Going to bring in my blends because I am going to color my birds. And these blends are the light smoky slate and dark smoky slate, and then I also have my old olive, and I'm also going to use my real red for the chest of the birds. So I got those, and then we have my, okay, I'm just going to just move these back over here out of my way while I bring in my card base. Okay, so I have my real red card base, which this is a little bit different because it's going to fold like this. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11, and then I'm going to fold and score it at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to bring in my bone folder and just crease that. I have a piece of black or basic gray cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to fit right on top, just like that. And I'm going to use my Tombow glue to adhere that. That's going to go right on just like that. And then I have my cardstock that will fit on top, and then this piece is going to fit in behind where I'm going to cut out the cloche. Okay, so I'm going to just move this out of the way. Then I have a piece of basic white cardstock for my sentiment. Okay, we'll just move this out of the way. I'll bring in my Big Boss. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the previous card. Oops. Keep that in place. Okay, so we're going to just center this almost in the center. Just like that. Bring in my top plate. There we go. And then just run it on through my Big Boss. We'll just take this piece out, and we can probably use that for something else later on. And okay, so I'm just going to just put that to the side. And what I'm going to do is basically stamp this and just take it up a wee bit further. Just like that. Sure it's straight, and then I'm going to stamp this in my Memento ink because you want it to stand out. You don't want it to blend in. We're not using soft colors. We're using sort of a dark regal colors. And I'm going to stamp my bird almost in the center there. There we go. So this piece should just sit just like that on top, which is perfect. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We get to color. Okay, so what I'm going to do over there is I'm going to bring in my lighter of my real red, and I'm going to just color, very lightly color the bellies of the birds. Just like that. Now I'm going to bring in my smoky slate, my light smoky slate, and I'm going to blend in the red and the gray smoky slate together, just like that. We'll do the same thing on this side. Just like that. And then finish coloring in the bird. And blend it a little bit more. Now I'm going to bring in my dark smoky slate, and I'm just going to do some of the highlights. Bring a little light one back in, and then blend those in just a little bit more. Okay, so now we got our Old Olive, and this stamp set does have a stamp that actually colors these in, but I don't want to take any chances, so I'm just going to color them in using my blends. Okay, and I think my birds need a little bit of bling, so I'm just going to bring in some of my Winca Stella and just color up the birds. Wow, that seems like a lot. Oh no, we're good. Do the same thing on this one. There we go. Okay, so now let's just bring in the rest of this, and we'll bring in a cloche. And we'll do the same thing that we did on the other one, is that we're going to, where's my piercing tool? There it is. We're just going to take the top one off. This guy out of the way, and then just bring this piece and put it right over top of that, just like that. So now that we got this piece done, I'm just going to bring in a piece of ribbon, and oops. And I'm just going to hold it in place by flipping this over and adding a wee bit of my Stamp and Seal. Oops, come on. There we go. A bit there, and a bit there. Okay, normally when I'm putting ribbon on, I like to use dimensionals, but I'm not going to do that today. And the reason being is this is going to be a shaker card, and I want everything to be nice and flat. Okay, so before we take the back off, before I lose this too, seems to be, okay, so now I'm going to just take my tape, my seal, and I'm just going to go around the outside of this, just like that. There we go. And now I'm going to just take this piece off, like that, and now I'm going to grab my sequence. Now I'm going to put my sequence onto my bird, which is going to be, I'm going to put him down first, so I should put him into place. Come on. Put him into place just about there. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And I'm just going to add my sequence into onto the birds, just like that. I'll bring this piece back on. Now this is all sticky, so it's basically one shot does it. I'm just going to make sure I have a wee bit of the basic gray showing in the background and just adhere everything down just like that. Now I have a piece of basic white, and I have my sentiment saying it's the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm going to stamp that, and I'm going to use my old olive for that one. Just tap this up. I'm going to put this into the center because I'm going to cut out the ends using my punch. There we go. So I'm going to use this end of the punch, and this is, I think this is what, 3 inches? 3.5 inches, and it's 1 inch wide, so it's going to slide perfectly in the punch. And I always like to punch on the back side so I can see everything coming through. So you're just going to just push that in until you see it, and then when it's just like that, punch it, remove this, and then I'm going to flip this, flip it around, slide it in again, and then just keep it into the grooves, and then as soon as you see the end, see that? See, as soon as I see the end, oops, a little too far. I'm going to punch it out just like that. And then I have my sentiment, which is going to go onto the bottom of this just like that. So I'm going to adhere that using my dimensionals. And basically 3 on the back side. Oh, these are hard to get up. Must be paper pumpkin ones, and that's just going to go right on the bottom, just like that. So I need a ribbon up there. So what I'm going to do is bring it underneath, make sure I have enough, and I just, look at that, that's all I got left. Not that much. So maybe what I'm going to do though, just so I don't waste any of it, is just tie it using my bow maker. Oh man, I can't believe this. Oh, sad day, sad day. And then under, and then, oh, here we just make the ends just a wee bit longer. Just tie and remember what I said in the first one, just make sure that everything looks good. Whoops. And then because once you pull it tight, it's really hard to take it apart. And then just cut it. Always cut your ribbon on an angle. The reason being is that it won't fray. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my glue dots. I'm going to put this right about, I'm going to add a couple of them so that it stays in place. Now this type of card, I don't think I'd put it through the mail because it is a little bit thicker and it may not go all the way through the post on that one. Okay, so I'm just going to straighten up so you can have another look at these cards. So this is the last one, and this is a shaker card, and there's shake stuff in there. And we have another one with happy birthday. And then we have the first one that I did, which says, any way you slice it, I'm thankful for you. And there's that one. This one was done using my watercoloring pencils, and a blending pen, just to move everything around on that. And this one here, I just basically colored it using my blends as I did on this one here. So those are the 3 cards I made tonight. And if you're interested, I do have a hostess code for this month. If you place your order, make sure you use that hostess code. And if your order is over $60, you will receive a little surprise in the mail with me, along with a thank you card. So those are the cards tonight. So which one do you like better? The best, I guess. What's your favorite, I should say? Which one is your favorite using the Cloche stamp set? And I'm thinking that's about it for tonight. I've taken up enough of your time, almost an hour. Holy smokers, that's long for me. It's usually 20 minutes. So thanks for joining tonight. I greatly appreciate it. And thanks for sticking around and watching me finish up my 3 cards. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks so much for joining me again. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you all soon. See you next Tuesday. Bye.